Welcome to the Millennial Life Coaches podcast. At MLC, our mission is simple: add value to help you take on massive action towards your life goals. Here, we feature amazing coaches from all over the world, share compelling stories, and discuss proven practices to help keep your energy high and in the flow. Learn more about MLC at millenniallifecoaches.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches. I am your host, Tanya, and I am joined today by the incredible Christie. Now, Christie does something that I'm very passionate about. She helps new coaches get started in growing their business, getting them set up. Coach Pony is actually designed to be able to help businesses thrive and get going. So with that being said, welcome to the show, Christie. I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Let's do this.
Yay. So I touched a little bit. Let's just dive right in. That's how we roll. On that you help new coaches get started, but what does that mean? Tell me more. How did you get started in this? Just tell me everything.
Yeah. So I got certified so many years ago. I think in 2011, I became a CPC through IPEC. If any IPECers are listening, hi, hello. And it was such a wonderful certification program. And there are so many great ones. And it was a wonderful experience. But when it came time to helping us learn how to get paying clients as a coaching business, there was very little that I felt that was applicable that I could really use. And I struggled in the beginning because I had never sold myself before. You know, I had been a consultant in Washington. And so I'd been used to being a salaried employee and, you know, kind of talking up the company, but I'd never really sold myself, which was a very personal thing as coaches. Like we're selling who we are, right? And so I searched for a long time to find good business help. And it took me a while. And I also figured out a bunch of things on my own. And, over time, coaches started to ask me, how did you do it? Because I was a career coach and specialized in helping smart women find their passion. And Forbes named me a top 100 for careers, and I got some other accolades. And so coaches were like, oh, how are you doing this? And so out of that, Coach Pony was born because I had seen a lot of coaches or business coaches talking about how easy it was to be a coach and you can make six figures and be in front of the Eiffel Tower and all sorts of stuff. And it felt really gross to me. So I said, let me write a few blogs and create a Facebook community where we can just talk about the honest truth. Cause sometimes it's really awesome. And sometimes it's pretty ugly. And, sometimes it's just mediocre, like being an entrepreneur is its own journey of the soul. So there's a lot that goes into that. And so I wanted to create a space for coaches to talk about the business side of coaching so that they could be successful, to share resources and stories and connections and just know that they had a safe space to talk about all this stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I love everything about this. I can completely resonate. When I first got my coaching started, I remember walking into the market and being like, I don't want to promote myself. This is scary. I don't know what I'm doing. And I wish I had a resource like this back then, because like you said, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great, and sometimes it's a little bit in between. So I love that this is this is what you've brought out into the world and you're helping coaches do this. So as a new coach getting started, let's kind of backtrack a little. I love that it was your past experience that got you started, but what are some things when we finish our educational platform and we now have this beautiful certificate and we're kind of stepping out and we're like, okay, now what? What's some advice that you can give a coach that might be currently in that space?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, I just want to say to every coach, congratulations. It is such wonderful work. Truly, truly. I just want to say that. And thank you also for being a coach and for helping people achieve their potential. I think that's awesome. So And now to get to like helpful advice, number one thing I want coaches to do who are starting out is I really want you to think about who you are serving. So what is your niche? And the reason for this is the number one question I get asked is, how do I find paying coaching clients, right? Because you can't support yourself as a coach if no one's paying you. If you can't support yourself, you can't support your clients. So you need to get paid for this work. And the easiest way to find people is to know who you're looking for. Right? If you're trying to just help people with clarity or help people in transition, that's basically everyone. Everyone on the planet needs clarity. Everyone on the planet is always in some kind of transition. So we need to narrow it down. We need to understand the type of demographic you serve. So I want you to first think about the demographic. Do you help Gen Xers? Do you help baby boomers? Do you help professional women? Do you help gymnasts? Do you help widows? Do you help widowers? Who do you help? And then what do you help them do? Where do you help them make progress? Do you help baby boomers plan for a really healthy retirement, or maybe adjust? And a lot of baby boomers might be retired, have a, be able to spend more time and more healthy time with their grandkids. Do you help millennials plan for their retirement now because they need to start thinking about it? What are you doing? What kind of goal do you really want to help people with? And once you know that, then you can start to identify where those people are, right? So if you know that you're helping baby boomers in retirement, then you might want to develop a relationship with the AARP, for instance, if you're in the United States. You also know you're probably not going to necessarily want to market on the latest social media platform because baby boomers might not be there yet. Right? But if you are helping Gen Z or something, you probably do want to be on TikTok, and you might want to consider that. So there's just a lot of things that go into helping you land clients when you're focused. If you can just focus in your business on who you want to help and what you help them achieve and start there, everything else becomes easier. It becomes easier to know what to put on your website, what messaging to put together, what kind of content to make, how to talk to people about what you do. And then most importantly, which is again, the big question we all have, is how do I find these people? Knowing who you're looking for is how you find them.
I love that. Let's dive a little bit more into this, because I love this question, and it's one that I get a lot as well but I can help everyone.
Yeah. And you can't help everyone.
It's really hard to niche down.
Yeah, it's true. You can't help everyone, but you don't need to help everyone. And I also want to say, everyone is not going to be a great client for you. Right? We're all different personalities and types, and there will be clients even in your niche who you should not coach because the chemistry fit isn't there. So just because you can't help everyone doesn't mean you should.
I love that, because it's so true. And when we're trying to help everyone, we end up helping no one in the process as well.
Yeah, people don't understand what you do. When you say something like, "Oh, I help people find clarity," I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Like, I don't get it. And if I don't get something in today's sort of fractured attention economy, I'm not going to keep listening to you. I'm going to scroll right on by. I'm going to check out of that conversation. I'm going to ignore that text, whatever it might be. But if you're really specific about what you help, what kind of person you help, then it's so much easier for me to either identify myself as that person or say, oh my gosh, I know someone. Or, oh, have you checked out this magazine? Have you checked out this free group? Have you checked out this other thing? I know people like this are there. Right? It's just so much easier to find. If I asked you, if you said to me, I need to go buy clothes, and I was like, what kind? And you were like, I don't know. I'm like, that's really hard. But if you said, oh, I need to go buy a wedding dress, it's like, oh, okay, well, that immediately we can start to pinpoint where to look. Right? It's the same idea.
Getting ahead shouldn't mean burning out or following some outdated playbook that never really fit us anyway. That's why I wrote Intrinsic Leadership. It's a guide to help you reclaim your influence, align with your purpose, and lead with confidence without losing yourself in the process. Inside, you'll find stories, reflection prompts, and practical tools you can actually use to lead your life and work your way. You can grab Intrinsic Leadership on Amazon, Audible, or bookshop.org. And a huge thank you to Millennial Life Coaches for featuring me. I'm Melissa Castro, leadership coach, consultant, and author. Come connect with me on Instagram at intrinsicleadllc or find me at www.intrinsiclead.com. Let's level up and lead from within.
I love that. Cool. Okay. So now I've figured out my niche.
Yes.
I'm zeroed in. I know where or who I'm talking to and what I do. We talked about socials, and I love this in our messaging. And messaging, like you said, in today's fractured attention we have, is super, super powerful. How do we start crafting our message in a way that we can publicly get it out there? Because let's be honest, social media tends to be one of the best places to advertise in today's day and age, short of word of mouth, which comes with time. Yeah. So how do we start crafting our social media in a way that kind of aligns and starts drawing people to us?
Yeah. Can I push back on something for a
Yes,
second, though, and
please.
slightly derail the conversation, if that's okay? I think social media is powerful. What you said, 100% true. Agree. And I don't think you have to be on social media to be able to support yourself as a coach if you really dislike it as a marketing methodology or if it doesn't suit your communication style. There are other ways to promote yourself without having to spend your life on social media. Again, though, it is powerful. So if you do like it or you feel like your audience is really there and you don't mind being there yourself, definitely use it. But either way, whether you're on social media or not, you do need a message, which I think gets to the point you're trying to make, Tanya.
Yeah.
And so to give a practical tip, one of the things that I ask my students to do is I ask them to interview people in their niche. So it goes back to niching again, right? It's hard to connect with people and develop a message for them if you're trying to speak to everyone. So I want my students to go and talk to people in their niche and really listen to them, not sell them on anything, just interview them and listen with your coaching hat on to understand what their struggles are and how they express them. Because you might say to me, Christie, I can help you find a new job. And I'm like, that's great. And that's like, I understand what you do, but it's even more compelling if you say, how much you hate your boss and you want to stab yourself in the eye every time you go to work on Monday morning. Maybe we stop doing that. Let's find you a job where you are the boss, or let's find you a job where you love your boss. And that would be so much more compelling to me. Right? Because it really connects with what my pain is. And so you get to that, you start to develop that kind of clarity in messaging. I think when you first niche and you can sort of imagine what your people might say. And second, when you talk to them. And then a third hack, by the way, a really quick hack is we often coach who we used to be. I would say the majority of coaches actually coach who they used to be. So you already have a good idea of what your niche might say in many cases, but just talk to people. Let them tell you, like, I believe in keeping things easy. Let's let our clients do the heavy lifting for us. Let's let them tell us the messages. And then all we have to do is listen. And then it's easy to know what to say.
I love that. So then we combo the pain points and the struggle with our ultimate transition or solution.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're feeling, right now you're feeling this amount of pain, you're feeling this bad way. And here's how we help you to feel not this way anymore. And here's how we help you to achieve that goal that you want. But sometimes it feels really far away.
MLC's community and network is built on integrity and value, and it really does help people succeed and get in front of the right people. And so with everything that I've experienced with MLC, all the work that I've done with them, alongside them, and the things that I have seen MLC do, I know that there is incredible power and potential in this platform and this community, and I can't wait to see it continue to grow. So far, it's been an absolute pleasure to be part of the community and to receive just the incredible support and resources that MLC provides.
Oh, so powerful and such good information. Okay. So how does it look when someone comes to Coach Pony? So we get our niche, we get our message, we start working with you. Do we actually then go into like how to format like the next steps in securing a client, or what's that experience like?
You mean like Coach Pony, the website, or Coach Pony, the paid
Like
program?
you.
Which one?
I guess kind of both. So if I'm assuming based off that, there's a little bit of a free component, and then there's obviously working with you direct within a container.
Yes.
What does that look like? Regardless,
Either way, there's a philosophy that I have that I want every coach to take on, which is that every successful coaching business is underpinned by 5 core business systems. They're strategic. The first is your coaching system. It's how you get clients from where they are now to where they want to be. That's first. You got to know, that's your coaching system, your niche, your pricing, your offer, all of that stuff is encapsulated in your coaching system. Then there's your conversion system. That's how you get clients who are browsing to buy. That's when you gently make an offer. That's your sales system. You also need your onboarding system. Once they say yes, how do you set them up for success so that they have a great experience in your coaching and get the most out of it and get the most for their money, and also then share your goodness with the world? And we also have your education system, which is how people get to know you once they've discovered you, because no one is going to buy coaching from you the instant they find you. They are going to need to learn a little bit more about you. Often they'll do this on your website. Sometimes they'll do it on some of your other platforms or channels, or a combination, your podcast, your free class, whatever it might be. And then the final system, and the one that's the fuel for everything else, is your marketing system. And this is how people find you. So people who don't know you exist, you go out into the world, you put out amazing content, whether you're giving a free talk, whether you're got a podcast, whether you're on some form of social media, whatever it might be. And people discover you and they like what you have to say, and they follow you back. They get into your education system. Those that like what you have to say on your website and other forms, they stick around. They hear that you have an offer. You get to make that offer. Those that say yes get into your onboarding system. And then finally, they're set up for success to get into your coaching system and have those great results. So those 5 systems create a loop that steadily brings clients to you. So that's like what we teach over at Coach Pony in our free and paid materials. But that's regardless of if you come over to Coach Pony or not. Just remember this for anyone listening and apply it to your business. If you're struggling as a coach, you are missing a system or maybe multiple systems. And if you are brand new, build all 5, please. Build all 5. However you choose to do it, just do it.
Love that. So of the 5 systems, which would you, in your experience, have you noticed is the one that tends to be, I guess, kind of either the one that's lacking or the one that's hardest or most challenging to put together?
I think the 2 hardest systems for coaches are their niche, the coaching system. So not the actual offer, but just the niche itself, and then the marketing system. And both because we get the most gremlins at these 2 spots. So with your niche, a lot of coaches are afraid of missing out. Like if you niche down, then you're turning money down and leaving money on the table, and you may not be able to support yourself. Or you can't niche down because you're a fraud, and people will discover you're an impostor if you're trying to present yourself as sort of knowledgeable or just practicing in a specific area. And that can make it really hard to choose. So a lot of people get stuck with the niching. And then with marketing, it's when you are really putting yourself out there for judgment, and it's a vulnerable and scary thing to do. And that's a whole other set of gremlins that arise at this stage. And you're also learning a new skill. Most of us do not know, like we don't have a background in marketing. Most people coming to coaching aren't professional marketers as their first job, right? So it's a skill that we all have to learn. And we're also often learning a platform. We might be learning about how to market on LinkedIn or how to get booked as a public speaker or something like that. And so there's a lot to learn, and it can be overwhelming, and it's easy to start doubting yourself because you're probably not going to be very good at it in the beginning, because no one starts as an amazing marketer. No one gets it perfect right out of the gate. And so it's really hard because you're feeling very vulnerable. You're putting yourself out there. You're feeling very judged. You're learning all these new skills. And sometimes you're not getting instant results, but you really want instant results. And so it can be a really tough phase where people can get stuck or give up. But I'm here to tell you that don't give up. Like, get in line, stay in line. It does pay off. All of the work you do pays off. I had people discover me in my first few months of coaching, but not hire me for a year. And they were like, "Oh yeah, I saw you speak at X." And I was like, that was like the second month I was ever a full-time coach. That's when you found me, But they did it. They were there. And then I just had to keep going. And eventually you sort of get a snowball, and the snowball grows and grows, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. But it does take a lot of energy and effort at the beginning, and it can be really hard mentally, especially.
Hey there, listeners. This episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches is proudly sponsored by CoachCore.
CoachCore is an all-in-one platform built specifically for coaches by coaches. We get it. Running a coaching business can feel overwhelming with all the tech, marketing, and administrative work involved. That's why we created CoachCore, to take the stress out of those details and help you focus on what truly matters, your clients and the transformation you provide.
Exactly. Whether you're managing your calendar, tracking your client's progress, or assessing a comprehensive library of resources, CoachCore is designed to streamline your operations. Our platform automates the technical side of things so you can spend more time doing what you love, coaching and creating an impact.
And we know that coaches come in all shapes and sizes with different needs. That's why CoachCore is customizable, so it grows with you. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're scaling your business. Our platform supports every step of the way.
So if you're a coach who's ready to simplify your tech, save time and money, and grow your business, CoachCore is here for you. We believe that coaches should be empowered with the right tools to build a sustainable, thriving practice. So why not take a moment and check us out?
So visit us at coachcore.ca to learn more and start your journey toward business growth and tech freedom. And trust us, you don't want to miss the difference CoachCore can make in your coaching practice.
Thanks for tuning in to Millennial Life Coaches podcast. Let's get back to the episode.
I love that. So with those, I kind of want to backtrack a little bit to the first one, the niche, and then I'm going to come back to the vulnerability. You said a lot of limiting beliefs that come up, like the fraud. That part stood out to me where I was like, okay, like how many of us have started this and kind of had that feeling? Do you have any advice for those who maybe are experiencing those because they are limiting beliefs, because they're not true, but ways that they can overcome that and kind of get out of their own way to see that, like, I can stand here, I can take up this space, I do know what I'm doing, and this is my niche?
Yeah. I love, first of all, I love that you reinforced that they're not true. So thank you for saying that, because I think we all need to hear that. So that was excellent coaching. Thank you. And, you know, they aren't true, but I think a couple of things. What I tell my students is, first off, the fact that you are even worried about being a fraud means you're likely to work even harder to do a good job with your clients. So embrace that fear, not as being a fraud, but as like wanting to just do your best, which means you probably are going to over deliver. And so give yourself a little bit of grace. Yeah. And second, you've got, like, what we have to do is you will get better. You will get more comfortable, but you've got to start somewhere. So you don't have to present yourself as the perfect coach with tons of experience. You can be upfront about who you are. I'm new and I'm so excited and I'm so passionate and I bring a lot of background to this area, and just acknowledge what's happening. So your clients, know what they're getting into. And then just promise yourself, and this is something that I did with my first client, my first career client I booked. And I had this like big roller coaster. Like, she found me from a speech I gave, because public speaking is what I did when I was a brand new coach. I really just focused on that. And she found me and she called me, and I had a sales consult where I was like sweating bullets. I was really glad it was on the phone and not video. And she said yes. And I was so excited. And then 30 seconds later, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to help her? Like, even though I'm a certified coach, even though I was a director in my business unit as a consultant, I managed a bunch of people and millions of dollars worth of work, all of that stuff. I'm like, I'm a total fraud. She's going to figure it out. So I made a promise to myself in that moment, which was, first of all, I'm never going to get better at this if I don't do it. So that's step one. Second, I am going to promise myself, like, she bought a 10-session package. I'm going to promise myself that if I don't feel like she's made really good progress, or if there's something I'm doing and I don't feel like she's happy, I will give her free sessions. So, like, I'm not going to tell her this, but like, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that she makes significant progress in her work with me. And that's my promise to myself, to give me the space to move past that limiting belief that I can't do this, that I'm a fraud. And just to give myself the grace to be able to just focus on the coaching. And I truly think all of those things together, like, if you care about it, you almost certainly will work hard to just give your best to this person, and they will get amazing results. Give yourself grace to be new, be honest about where you are, and it takes the pressure off. And then make those promises to yourself, over deliver in some way. If it makes you feel a little bit safer and taking on these clients in the beginning. And finally, you got to put on your big girl pants. I think, like, you have to just be willing to be visible and do the work and take risks and be uncomfortable. Being an entrepreneur, not just a coach, but a coach entrepreneur, is about pushing past your comfort zone. And so some of this is going to be uncomfortable, but the only way to grow your comfort zone is to be uncomfortable so you can grow it. So, like, just if this is what you want, go for it. And like, truly, you will, I can't think of any client of mine, and I've literally helped tens of thousands of coaches who have come back to me and been like, none of that worked. They all would come out of their sessions and be like, oh my God, that session was amazing. My client said they got this tremendous breakthrough, whatever it was, but they had to make sure that they did it. So that was a really long answer. I'll stop.
No, but I love it because you segued into what my next question was going to be. Because in that you mentioned a lot of, like, be honest with where you're at, give yourself grace, step into the uncomfort, which steps into that vulnerability piece that we were kind of talking about, that I wanted to loop back to, because that is the other part of the area where people tend to get tripped up on. So I love that you kind of brought that in there. So if I'm already doing those things and I'm showing up authentically, that does help with the marketing side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
anything else that I can do within that helps kind of face that vulnerability and just getting your message out there. Because really, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, with marketing, I think it's really about practice makes perfect. And there's never also letting go of perfection. Like both of those things. And one of the greatest things ever, though, that really helped me was none of us want to hire a perfect coach because we don't feel connected. You need to feel connected to your coach. And if the person is perfect all the time, it feels sort of unattainable and like they don't really understand or know you. So actually being a little bit imperfect, a little bit messy, builds more trust, builds more rapport, and builds more connection. And so you're actually going to do better if you just focus on progress, not on perfection, and just consistency and being visible. And it's going to be okay. You'll make mistakes and almost no one will notice.
It'll be beautiful parts where you look back and you're like, okay, yeah, I said that. That was part of my growth evolution.
Yeah, exactly. But some of that like imperfection is actually what's going to draw people to you. So please don't take that out of your arsenal. Like it's really important. You are a human and you're connecting with another human. Be human about it.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay. I could ask so many more questions and I want to keep us on a good time frame and not go too long. First, I guess we'll ask the big question. So if I'm a new coach, I'm getting started out and I need and want this advice, this help, how do I find you?
Go to coachpony.com and we have tons of resources there. You guys, we have blogs, we have podcasts. I have a book. You can also find it on Amazon. It's got a ton of reviews that will help you if you're just starting out. And if you want to work with me and my team more closely, our flagship program is called Build a Real Business. Because I'm not interested in coaches just getting 1 or 2 clients. I want you to have an actual real business that can support you. So Build a Real Business is just designed to help you start and grow your business. It comes with training and community and live support. And yes, I'm deeply involved in the live support. Both daily and weekly, we have it on Zoom. We have an online group on Facebook. We have all sorts of stuff just to help make sure that you don't just take the training, but you implement it and you have a community to support you so that your business is much more likely to succeed. So that's coachpony.com/barb, BARB, Build a Real Business, or just find us at Coach Pony.
Perfect. And we'll make sure we get all that information from Christie, so it'll be in the show notes below so you can easily access that. Christie, oh my gosh, we could keep going for hours here.
I know.
So much goodness. What is
I'm
something?
so long-winded.
No, I love that. This is what I love, especially marketing. You're speaking my language. What is something that you would like to leave our listeners with? A nugget, advice, wisdom that would maybe enforce maybe someone who is kind of like teetering on what my next steps are, or maybe someone who's been in it for a bit but doesn't really feel any real growth. What is a word of advice that you would like to gift to them?
Oh, whenever I feel like, do you know when someone at a restaurant, they start listing all the stuff and like you instantly forget it? I feel like when someone asks for wisdom, I'm like, oh crap. I know I've got some. No, for new coaches just starting out, I just want to reaffirm that this is a healthy industry that is growing. And I'm so excited that you want to be a part of it. And so, learn about coaching, get into it. Don't be afraid. There's space for you. But you do need to learn how to build a business if you want to be successful. You can't just learn coaching skills and expect the clients to come. It's not filled of dreams, So just if you're starting out, set aside some time and some energy and probably a little bit of money to invest in your business skills, because that's what's going to get you those paying clients. So I just don't want to sell that short. I think sometimes people come out of coaching school and they think it's just going to happen magically, but it does not. So coaching skills and business skills, get both, and you are so much more likely to succeed. And to anyone struggling, look at your 5 systems. Marketing, education, conversion, onboarding, and coaching. You almost certainly you might need to narrow your niche a little bit. There might be something with your coaching system. Look at your numbers. How many people are you reaching on your marketing system? How are you educating them? You're probably missing a system. And I have a great free podcast series. It's got a Formula One theme. It's season 7 of our podcast, which walks you through some of this stuff. So it's free. If anyone's interested, you can find it on the Coach Pony podcast. It's on any podcast player on our website. But that'll sort of help you walk through the systems if you're struggling. But that's probably why you are missing something. And you just need to tweak it, reflect, get a little bit more consistent with what you're doing, narrow your focus. We usually need to actually do less rather than more, but just do it better. And so if we can figure out one or two things, you're probably going to be able to turn that ship around.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay. It has been such a pleasure talking with you. We will likely probably need to get you back to do this again, and just continue this conversation. But for today, this has been another episode of How to Get Ahead with Millennial Life Coaches, and we will see you on the next one.